Event stacking is a term or a concept that I came up with when I was working with inmates at a local prison. And I came up with this term because I couldn't figure out uh, what word might be used to describe something that was happening to a lot of the inmates that I was working with as a drug counselor. And what they were describing was this phenomena that would happen to them when this thing that would happen when they would get out of prison and they would try to start over again and create a really good situation for themselves and for their family. And they were trying to walk the straight and narrow path, right? Trying to avoid drug use, trying to avoid other forms of substance use. They were trying to make good choices, and they described how stuff would start to go wrong. Problems would come at them from seemingly all directions, and events that were difficult to tolerate would start to stack up on top of each other, kind of like one of those Jenga games when you have all the little blocks that are stacked up, and eventually, they fall apart, right? Like they might fall down or become unstable. You could think of it as like a house of cards. It's very delicate. If you want to use another kind of word picture to describe what I'm talking about, I sometimes think also of a stack of pancakes where, they're stacked up like a tall, what's the word? It's kind of like a cylinder, but it's just like a stack of things. So event stacking basically refers to that. It's when, your rent is due and your girlfriend's mad at you, or your boyfriend or your partner is mad at you about something, and your kid is crying in the background, and your boss emails you that you need to do some extra work, and maybe your clients or your customers or your coworkers are also trying to get your attention for whatever reason. Maybe it starts snowing outside, and so you can't see without using your wipers, right? And then all of a sudden your windshield wiper breaks off. And, we've all been in that situation, right? It's like, what am I going to do? Oh my God. And you want to rip your head out. I mean, you want to rip your hair out, or you feel like your head's going to explode. And so you're just like, wow, somebody like, I can't handle this. And then you try to unplug, and you want to like unplug from all this turmoil that seems to be piling on top of you, right? When it rains, it pours, people say. And so the next thing you know, I would ask the inmate, well, what did you do when all that happened? And they would say, well, I said, F it. And I stopped caring. And I'd say, what happened next? Well, I committed a crime, or I made a poor choice, or I acted out, or I gave up, or I quit, or I gave in to someone else's demands or wishes. And what happened after that? Well, I ended up back in prison. Interesting. So you were out there trying to make good choices when all this stuff started piling up on you, and eventually it persuaded you to give in, or to give up, or to act out. Yes, that's true. That's what happened, they would say. So I'd say, okay, well, now when you do it again, when you try getting out again, I want you to think about that event stacking. So when something starts to happen to you, a lot of things at once, try to recognize that you're being event stacked, or event stacking is happening. And you could say that this is caused by random acts of God, or the devil, or demonic stuff, or energy, shadow people, or some group of people that don't like you somewhere is pulling the strings. You never know. But it could just be a coincidence. It could just be the universe, reacting to your own subconscious fears or destructive tendencies. We don't know. Maybe you made some choices previously that led to this moment, right? And so your own choices have led to these natural and logical consequences. Or it could be some other thing. Maybe it's aliens. Who knows? But my point is, when event stacking happens, recognize it, and then you can choose your response and stay conscious so that you can hopefully be mindful about how you react. And if you can be mindful and then make a conscious choice about how to deal with each thing separately, one at a time, you don't want to multitask when you're in this situation, because multitasking is going to make event stacking worse or more destructive in its effect. Because the more you multitask, the less you're paying attention to each individual thing, right? And we need you to stay focused. We need you to keep your emotional center. Stay centered emotionally. And get a pen and paper out and start writing down all the problems that are happening to you. And just, which one can I deal with right now? And then if 10 more things come in, take care of them one at a time. Come back to your list. Which one can I deal with now? And just keep checking it off until it's done. All right. Have a great day.